Nada is a homeless man who has arrived in Los Angeles in search of work. He wanders around the city, looking at the streets around him, full of hope and anxiety, and meets a street preacher who addresses passers-by with a warning. The preacher states that some hidden forces are controlling society, and they are actively recruiting the rich and powerful to manipulate humanity. He claims that there is a group of people who are hiding the true reality from others and are doing everything they can to maintain their positions and control. Nada listens to his words, but they seem unlikely, and he continues on his way. Nada takes a job at a construction site where he has to work under hard and tiring conditions. On the job site, he meets a man named Frank, with whom he quickly develops a friendship. Frank is an experienced laborer, and he explains to Nada how life in Los Angeles works for people like them. Despite the hard work and lack of high-paying prospects, Nada feels some strange attraction to the man, and they begin to spend time together. After work, Frank invites Nada to live in a slum near a church inhabited by people in a similar situation. At this place, Nada meets Gilbert, who is the informal leader of this community. Gilbert shares with him stories of the difficult living conditions that people like them find themselves in and how he himself has learned to cope. While walking the streets one day, Nada happens to find himself in a neighborhood where there is an unusual church. Inside this temple, he discovers that the church is engaged in something that at first glance looks strange. Inside, besides the usual prayers and services, something else is going on. Nada, interested in what's going on, begins to watch the actions of the people, noticing oddities in their behavior. He realizes that everything around him is not as it should be. People behave strangely, sometimes very mechanically, as if they are acting according to a pre-written script. Over time, Nada finds some abandoned televisions that seem to find new meaning in his life. He notices that some of the channels on the screens show images he has not seen before. At one point, Nada discovers a strange channel that broadcasts images of people who look very different in reality. He sees an image that makes him question what is going on around him. These are not just ordinary people in the images. He sees strange features, distorted faces, and unfamiliar silhouettes. Sensing that something is not right here, Nada decides to go back to Gilbert and discuss it. Gilbert listens to him anxiously, but soon explains that those who control the world don't want anyone to expose them. They guard their secrets too well and do their best to hide their true selves. However, Nada can't rest easy. He decides to sneak into one of the laboratories that are connected to this mysterious world. Soon Nada and Frank become allies in this confrontation. Their friendship, built on trust, gradually grows into a determination to expose those who are trying to hide the truth. Together they set out on a quest that threatens to expose the entire system they are sure is manipulating people. Unexpectedly, Nada finds even more evidence of an unseen threat when he discovers a series of television programs and messages broadcast by secret channels. Everything he sees becomes more and more frightening and horrific. It becomes clear to him that the reality around him is just a facade behind which something much darker and more dangerous lurks. He realizes that most of the people around him have no idea what is happening. Those who try to resist are punished or disappear as if they are invisible to society. Nada begins to realize that it is this group of people and their strange power that has been behind everything that has happened to him in his life. Frank and Nada decide to take a stand against this power. In their search for the truth, they encounter obstacles and forces that oppose them, including people who act like zombies or as if they are under some sort of alien control. Every step they take, they face brutality and deception, trying to find even the slightest clue to expose the system. Things get very tense. At one point, Nada finds another way to see people and their real selves through special glasses that open his eyes to what's going on around him. As soon as he puts on these glasses, he sees not just ordinary people, but their true colors. They turn out to be aliens disguised as humans who control everything that happens on Earth. Using these glasses, Nada begins to investigate everything that is happening around him, and his perception of the world changes. The glasses allow him to see hidden signals and hidden information that other people don't notice. On the streets of Los Angeles, he can now distinguish between the people who wear these masks and realize who the real enemy is. The further he goes, the more he realizes the extent of this conspiracy. Nada and Frank begin to fight these creatures. They encounter them in various places, from all sorts of laboratories to large buildings where the truth about who runs the world is hidden. But with each step, the fight becomes more dangerous and more difficult. At some point, Nada realizes that in order to defeat the enemy, he will have to sacrifice a lot, including his life and the safety of his loved ones. Nada decides to stage a final clash to destroy the system that manipulates humanity. However, on his way to victory, he will have to go through many trials, both physical and moral, fighting unimaginable dangers and facing brutal opponents who are willing to do anything to hide their true nature.